Hello friends, welcome to this YouTube channel. In this particular quiz lecture, we are going to solve some 8-9 questions related to VOR. Okay, specifically based on VOR topic, we are going to see some unique questions. I have picked some unique questions that you normally don't encounter in your day-to-day life, but are very important for your knowledge and practical application. So let's look at some questions and answer them. So to begin with, question number one, when must an operational check on aircraft VOR equipment be carried out when used to operate under IFR conditions? So first things first, operational check aircraft VOR equipment when you are flying under IFR. So you are supposed to use that plane to fly under IFR conditions, IFR flight plan. You need to cross check, you need to check the accuracy of your VOR equipment. So when will you do that? What does the regulation say? Option A, within the preceding 10 days or 10 hours of flight time, within the preceding 30 days, 30 hours flight time, within the preceding 30 days. So the correct option is option Charlie. Okay, there is no such regulation talking about or related to flight time. So option A and B are wrong. Options A, B are wrong. Correct option is option Charlie. So within the preceding 30 days, you must execute an operational check on aircraft VOR equipment if you are going to operate that aircraft under IFR scenario, under IFR conditions. Very important. Next. Question number two. What data must be recorded in aircraft log or any other document by a pilot making a VOR operational check for IFR operations? So where do you enter that information? Okay, whatever checks you are doing, where do you log that information, that check information? VOR name, so what kind of data and where? So VOR name or identification, date of check, amount of bearing error and signature, place of operational check, the amount of error, date of check and your signature, date of check, VOR name, VOR identification, place and amount. So the correct option here is option Bravo. You do not write VOR name or identification in the documents or any other aircraft log. Okay, so what you include is your data should be inclusive of place, the error, the date, and your signature. That's it. So VOR name or identification not necessary, not required. Question number three. What record shall be made in the aircraft log or other permanent record by the pilot making VOR operational check? So what record shall be made? It's similar to the previous question. So date, place, date of the check, place of the check, bearing error and signature, date, frequency of VOR or VOR test facility, number of flight hours since last check and signature, the date, place, error, aircraft total time and signature. So correct option is option A. Okay, frequency of VOR or VOT test facility, number of flight hours irrelevant. In this option Charlie, aircraft total time is wrong. So you can easily eliminate Bravo and Charlie. You're left with option number A. Next, question 4. Which checks and inspections of flight instruments or instrument systems must be accomplished before aircraft can be flown under IFR? So before flying in IFR conditions, you must check that required aircraft instruments are within the accuracy limits, proper maintenance has been done, inspections have been carried out, and then you conduct that IFR flight to ensure safety, for your own safety. So VOR within 30 days, altimeter systems within 24 calendar months, transponder within 24 calendar months, ELT test within 30 days, altimeter 12 calendar months, transponder 24 calendar months, VOR within 24 calendar months, transponder 24 calendar months, altimeter 12 calendar months. So correct option is option A. You must check and inspect your VOR within 30 days, altimeter systems and transponder every 24 calendar months, and ELT test must be done every 12 calendar months. Okay, 12 calendar months. Remember this. VOR 30 days, Altimeter transponder 24 months, ELT 12 calendar months. Next. Question number 5. When making an airborne VOR check, very important, you are in the atmosphere and you are using some VOR facility on the ground and you are doing an airborne check. There is also a provision for doing VOR check on the ground. We call that ground VOR check. What is the maximum allowable tolerance accuracy limit between the two indicators of a dual VOR system? Okay, so you are using a VOR ground installation and you are comparing the and you have two VOR receivers on your aircraft and you are comparing them. Okay, so what is the maximum tolerance between these two VOR receivers in your aircraft? VOR indicators. 4 degree between the two indicator bearings of a VOR plus or minus 4 degree when set to radials of a VOR, 6 degree between the radials of a VOR. So correct option is option A. Whenever you are making this or doing this airborne VOR check, it is important that you get a bearing to the VOR station, not bearing from the VOR station. Radial means what? Radial means a bearing obtained from the VOR station. Okay, so whenever you are doing a VOR check, you should be getting a bearing to the VOR station. Okay, and you compare those two bearings on those two VOR system, those two VOR indicators, those two bearings to the VOR's ground installation, and the maximum tolerance or the maximum accuracy limit is 4 degrees. Okay, so the indications given by these two VOR receivers should be within plus minus 4 degree of each other. Okay, and remember bearings to the VOR station, QDM, not radials, not QDR. Question, okay, so read this. Dual VOR check. This is oftentimes the easiest check to accomplish as long as you have two VOR receivers. To check dual VOR receivers against one another, tune both nav radios to the same VOR facility, very important. Center the needles of each VOR receiver with a 2 indication. Like I said, bearing to the station or QDM. Note the indicated bearings to the station from each of those receivers. The maximum permissible variation or difference between the two indicated bearings is 4 degrees. Question 6. What minimum navigation equipment, minimum, kam se kam, is required for IFR flight? For to conduct an IFR flight, you require VOR, localizer receiver, transponder and DME. Without this three, you cannot conduct IFR flight. But that is the question. Option B, VOR receiver, and if air route, so this is some kind of radar. If environment, a coded transponder equipped for altitude reporting. Option C, nav equipment appropriate to the ground facilities to be used. So the correct option will be option Charlie. Depending on your IFR flight, depending what ground installations are going to be, you're going to encounter, okay, or you're going to come across when you're conducting an IFR flight between point A and point B. So, and whether you're going to fly in any controlled airspace, in a radar environment. So, considering all these conditions, you will need specific navigation equipment. So there is no specific or certain criterion that you must have VOR receiver, a transponder, a DME. There is no such thing. Depending on your IFR flight plan, what ground equipments you're going to come across, the environment you're going to fly, you must have you must have a suitable, a proper navigation equipment. Okay, appropriate to that. So correct answer will be nav equipment appropriate to the ground facilities that you are going to use. Question number 7. When using VOR test facility on the ground, Tango stands for test. To make a VOR receiver check, CDI should be centered and the OBS should indicate that aircraft is on board. So remember, whenever you are doing a VOR check on the ground using a VOR test facility, okay, so you should always get two indications, one of the two indications, 360-degree OBS with a from indication or OBS 180 with a 2 indication. Remember this. So 360 from indication, 180 indication. Let's say this is your VOR test facility on the ground. This is your north datum. You are to the east. You are to the east of this VOT facility, somewhere here, position here. Okay. So even if you are to the east of this VOR test facility, you must get either OBS 360 with from indication or OBS 180 with a 2 indication. Okay, you should get you're using any other VOR equipment other than VOR test facility. If you are to the east of this test VOR station, you will be on radial 090 from. Okay, so your indication will be 090 from indication. If you are to the south of a VOR station, you will get OBS 180 from. If you are to the west of this VOR station, an ordinary VOR station, you will get indication like OBS 270 from indication. But VOR test facility is an exception. Irrespective of your position with respect to this facility, east, west, south, southwest, southeast, whatever position with respect to this VOR test facility, you must always get either of these two indications, 360 from or 1802. Remember this. So when using VOT to make a VOR receiver check, CDI should be centered and the OBS should indicate that aircraft is on 360 radial. Okay, they are talking about radial. Radial means from indication. So you will get from indication with respect to 360 radial. You will get two indication with respect to 180 bearing. Next. How should the pilot make a VOR receiver check? Okay, VOR receiver check when aircraft is located on the designated checkpoint on airport surface. Okay, so this is how a designated point on the airport surface looks like. Okay, there is an uh, a yellow color arrow situated in the black circle, innermost black circle, which is encircled by another yellow boundary, yellow circle, white circle, and then another outer boundary is black color, black circle. So how are you going to make a VOR receiver check based on this designated checkpoint? So it's just like a VOR test facility, but how is it different from VOR test facility? In the VOR test facility, you must get either of these two bearings, okay, irrespective of your position. But in case of designated checkpoint, you will only get one particular bearing depending on your position with respect to that with respect to that checkpoint. So look at this diagram over here. This is an airport diagram. It's shown here. This symbol is indicates the location where this designated point is located on the airport. So it's located here, and the information is given: the name of the VOR facility, the frequency, and when you are on that designated point and you are making a VOR receiver check or inspection, you must get 066 radial indication with a from. Okay, so this, okay, only this indication, not 360 from 1802 or any other value. So it's specifically given here 066 r radial. Okay, so this is how a designated checkpoint is different from a VOR test facility. So tolerance is plus minus 4 degree. Ground checkpoints are not published but are published on airport diagrams and flight directories. That's it. So remember this. So 066 with a from indication. If this triangle is behind this aircraft, it's from. If it's ahead of aircraft, it is to. Okay, I have explained this concept in the VOR videos that I have made and uploaded to my Keith Williams playlist. There are multiple HSI, horizontal situation indicator based questions in which I have explained when triangle is behind aircraft, it means from. When triangle is ahead of aircraft, it means to. Okay, so do watch those videos also. Now, option A, set the OBS on 180 plus minus 4 degrees. CDI should center with a from indication. Set OBS on the designated radial. The CDI must center within plus minus 4 degree of that particular radial with a from indication. With aircraft headed directly towards the VOR and OBS set 000, the CDI should center within plus minus 4 degree of that radial with a 2 indication. So correct option is option Bravo. You have to set the OBS on the designated radial. Whatever radial it's indicated, like here it's 66. So you will set your OBS to 66 and you must get an indication which is within 4 degree of that value, 66 value, plus 4 minus 4 with a from indication. Why from indication? Because you have set a radial. Radials are nothing but bearings from the VOR station, QDR. Last, when the CDI needle is centered during an airborne VOR receiver check, the OBS and the to from indicator should read what? So in that case, if you are making an airborne VOR receiver check, the accuracy limit is plus minus 6 degree of the selected radial. Okay, any radial. Okay, you can take any radial 180, 360, 270, 245, whatever radial you take, the tolerance limit that it should be accurate within 6 degrees of that particular radial for airborne check. If you are making a ground VOR check, the accuracy or the tolerance limit is 4 degree. For airborne check, it is 6 degree. For ground, if you are on the ground and you are making a VOR check using a VOR test facility, there are only two options available: 360 from 1802 indication. If you are using a designated checkpoint on the ground, again tolerance limit is the same 4 degree. But in case of designated checkpoint, you are going to use that designated radial printed on the airport diagram, and with respect to that designated radial you must get an indication which is plus minus 4 degree of that designated radial. And in case of airborne VOR receiver check, there is no specific radial designated for the purpose. You can use any radial of your choice, only that the tolerance limit is 6 degrees, not 4 degrees, 6 degrees. So these are the 9 questions that I have singled out for today. Very important questions, different from what I have uh, already done and uploaded to my YouTube channel. So far, I have solved VOR questions, how to intercept radials, how to figure out CDI indications, OBS indications, etc. etc. The questions from this quiz lecture are theoretical, based on regulations, based on VOR checks, etc. So there are no numericals involved in this quiz lecture, but some important theoretical questions which which you will use when you fly, when you start flying, or you're already flying. So they have practical significance. So that's why I have picked these 9 questions. I hope you have understood them, like this video lecture. So if you have liked this video lecture, do hit the like button, let me know that. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet, and share this video with all your friends. Thank you for your time. I wish you all the best.